Greetings, tires. Mike here from Castle Rock. It's early February, prime time for tying flies. In fact, I've been busy stocking my boxes and replenishing inventory for my Etsy site. My shop name is SuperFlysbyCOMike. See the link below. The fly I'm going to twist up today is this dungeon pattern. Show you the materials here real quick. Tan marabou in the tail along with MFC barred bugger boo. I'll twist in maybe 3 strands, not much of this head drawn flash speckled copper. The body maybe a little bit different than most you see in the bins. Blend of this fusion dub. This rainbow has got a pretty neat tan hue to it, and I darken it up with the tobacco. Over that will be some tan saddle hackle. The feather, just tie that in, secure it with some ultra wire. Hooks I use, be a 4 in the front, vertical 4 in the back, comes out to about 3.5 inches. I use 1 leg in the back, 1 set of legs on each side, and 2 legs in the front. Stuff's pretty nice. Deer hair head, tan and brown, just tan on the bottom, and then blend the 2 on the top. Do appreciate you checking this out. Once again, my shop is SuperFlysbyCOMike. Got probably 35 awesome streamer patterns along with a bunch of good fish catching nymphs and attractor dries. And let's get to tying up this sexy dungeon. Okay, let's get started here on the rear hook of this dungeon, this tan natural dungeon. This is a 7052. It's a vertical eye hook. MFC makes these babies. Using SuperFly thread. Gonna into this stuff. It's good stuff. This is 6/0. Get closer to that head, deer hair head. I'll change over to GSP. But anyway, for the tail, it's a tan fish hunter select marabou. Got this guy about a hook's shank length. Something like that. Create a little bit of body here with this first feather. Like putting a flash in on this fly. This is just a hollow speckled copper, I believe it's called. Head drawn stuff. This guy's makes some pretty good flash. Not much. I'll just take this and cut 3 pieces, sort of layered inside what I'll put on top. Even those bad boys up. Layer this bad boy in here on top. Next I'll put in some small ultra wire. This is ginger. You use just about anything you want. This was just sitting here on my desk. It's always best to not short yourself on this stuff so you don't have to work too hard to wrap it in over the hackle. What I'll do is put a bend in this up closer to the front so you can fold that over doubled on itself, thus preventing slipping out. Show you how I blend this stuff. Again, this is the Senyo's Fusion Dub in Rainbow. This is a more tannish look, but it's got some other colors in there. Not a whole lot of flash. Pull out a decent amount of this. I just put it on the table. 2-3 inches long. Then layer in some tobacco. It gives it a little bit more of a tannish appearance. Not a whole lot there. Let's put this on top. Then I'll put this I don't know if you can see that or not. So I'll make this dubbing loop and insert that length of dubbing mix I just put together. I like hooking this. What's nice about these Renzetti vices, you get that adjustment knob you can hang your loops over. Real quick half hitch in there. Place this guy in the loop. Dubbing loop, kind of cool. Spin that puppy up. I get a pretty tight turn or two to get things rolling. Tidy this up a bit. All right then. Next I'll grab one of these barred hackles. Take a good feather here. Take a little bit of that fluff on the bottom, not a whole lot. Make a little notch like that on the bottom of the feather. One turn in front, flip one over to the rear, a couple more, cinch this baby down, another half hitch. Use these electrical tester clips thingies, I don't know what the hell you call these, amongst other hackle pliers, but these don't work too bad. Sometimes they hold it in place all the way through, sometimes not. Usually they work pretty good. Take a wire, like I got a piece of flash kind of stuck in that wrapping. That out of there. This is what I meant by not shorting yourself on this wire. I just ripped through it. Doesn't seem to trap too many hackle feather fibers. Two rear, one in the front, two in the front. Just helicopter this puppy off. Sure we got those feathers or fibers back there. Clip off this guy. Get this overwing rolling here. Like so. This fly will have one leg, rear hook. Tie the legs in two different ways. One way I use for the front hook because it just drapes over the hook. Put it right on the side. Spin your thread a little bit so you get a cooperative loop in there. One leg. I'm going to go super tight on those. Finish that. Roller as is getting near the end. Okay, there we have it. Bring these legs up. Just past the tail, which is there. There you have it. Back end of this dungeon. Okay, so now we've got the back hook configured. First thing I'll do is put the eyes on the front hook. Again, this is a size 2 MFC 7050. These guys. And what I like to use to put the eyes on is like a little flatter thread. In this case, what is this? Vivus 140. Usually a 140 thread. Danville, Vivus, whatever. So let's get those guys on there. Set this a little bit back so that you can put 4 stacks of deer hair. And these are pretty cool eyes. They're called gold with sparkle yellow medium MFC. MFC is making some pretty good stuff. Love their barred buggerboo stuff we used on the back hook and we'll use here as well. A couple of turns on top of this guy. Spin it around. Y'all know the drill. You can see how far back that is. Probably maybe, I don't know, an eye length. Pretty snug wraps on these puppies. Figure eights, and then the money wraps are these guys here. Crank it a little bit, put a half hitch on there. Amongst all the glue, nip that puppy off and hang it up on my bead chain. Let that dry a minute, and we'll cinch up the articulation piece of this. Okay, in the vise I've got the size 2 with the eyes that I put on. I use GSP for this process. We'll do an articulation connection. Like these balloon bobbins for this, you can really crank on thread tension on this. This is black nano silk GSP 100 denier. Pre-cut some, use this stuff here. Kind of go back and forth between a lot of different things. Right now I'm into this. There's a Surfline Micro Ultra 1x19 knottable nylon leader. Pretty good stuff. Since that rear hook's got that vertical eye on it, I'll put this wire slash leader slightly to the far side of the hook, to my far side. And it'll crank down, get some tension on that thread. All right, things dried. Switched back to my SuperFly thread. What we'll do here now is cover up this connection on the bottom. I like these a little thicker, so I might just square some of that stuff up there. Once I get this on, pretty much the same as the front hook. So I'll probably just do a sped up video timeline. And try to build up a little bit of bulk here, not a whole lot. This guy, put that in there just a hair. Doesn't have to be super neat. It's kind of a connection, kind of give it that connected look, flowing look. Pulsates a little bit in the water too, which is kind of cool. So, like before, wire first. Okay, show you how I build this deer hair head. Use this tan deer belly hair. Not a huge fan of deer belly, but this thing's kind of bright over here. A little sparse. So this first stack is going to just be 4 stacks. Bottom, top, bottom, top. First 2 behind the eyes, last 2 in front of the eyes. So we'll start with the bottom hook. I'll do a quantity about like that. Take out some of the shorter hairs just for grins. You don't have to be too particular about this. It's on the bottom. I basically just even it out with my, just a quick little hand stack, no biggie. And then I will put this, tie this in about on the center of the hook. And then for the top, the first stack behind the eyes will be a little bit bigger. The one in front will be about half as much as this. So a pretty good sized chunk. About like that. And then to get that mottled effect, equal amount of brown. About like that. Set those in. Just kind of shuffle them slightly. It's no biggie. You're going to lose some hair when you do this, so that's why you need a pretty good chunk of it. These you're going to need to stack. We clean that one more time, didn't stack too well. I don't know how those butts get turned around. That looks a little better. So you can see kind of the brown mixed in with the tan. And I'll tie that in so that that comes into the point of the hook here. Like I say, these first two stacks behind the eye, second two in front of the eye, and away we go. A little better. Get some nano silk on there. Nano silk's kind of slippery stuff. I usually cut it with a razor blade. Dab a little glue on there. Not that much. Okay, I showed you how I stack the bottoms. This is that hair. Nothing scientific about this. Sometimes I will trim these butts just a hair. Not necessary, really. About in the middle. Unwrap, two wraps. Stitch that up. However, I think I need to get a little more tension here on this hook. So on the top, this is the mottled stuff. Pull that out of there. Combination, brown and tan. Pretty good sized chunk. Get that out to the hook points. It's going to just be on the top. Two wraps, and I come straight down. Try to go around the eyes, not through the bottom hair. Get to the bottom there, cinch that down pretty good. Going to the front of those two stacks, put a quick half hitch in there. Another similar stack to what I showed you earlier. I am going to cut the tips off of that stack. Come through here and again go around the hook, not through the okay, hopefully you can see this here. This mixture of tan and brown deer hair. I clip the bottoms and the tips. Pretty good stack here. This you can go through, spin your thread a little bit. Try not to trap any of the stuff on the side. Once you get it over there, pull straight down a little towards the rear. Try to work your way to the front. That eye exposed. Just get one knot in there. Might have got a little bit too big of a clump. Not necessary. Looks good. Try to get just a hair further in there, so put just a dab of glue in there. Good enough. One batch of hair here I'm not liking too much. Oh, it's square. Famous last words. Everybody keeps trimming until there's nothing left to trim. Okay, so there you have it.